Which of the following would the author agree with, contrary to Marjorie Perloff's explanation of Wittgenstein's assertion about aesthetics? Wittgenstein's assertion about aesthetics is mentioned here. Marjorie Perloff's explanation of that is mentioned in the third paragraph. It is stated, Marjorie Perloff further explains Wittgenstein's idea by stating what he meant was that one cannot say X is beautiful unless one has a notion of what beauty is in the abstract. She shows that Wittgenstein believes that you must be able to define a quality on its own in regards to itself only before you can apply that quality to any other thing. Wittgenstein goes on to explain by using the Greek ideal as a model. So here we have a slight change of argument. The key idea here is that you have to know beauty in the abstract. You have to have a kind of an objective idea, an overall idea of beauty before you can say that one particular or specific thing is beautiful. You have to know beauty. You have to have knowledge of beauty before you can judge beauty. So we have to find something which is contrary to this explanation, something that the author would agree with. Now, the author would agree with this because the author does disagree with Wittgenstein, with Ludwig Wittgenstein. And so by extension, the author disagrees with Marjorie Perloff. Let's look at the options. Option A says, a reputed critic of cinema considers a movie hideous, although it is popular with the audiences. Now, although it is popular with the audiences is irrelevant, it doesn't matter to us. A reputed critic of cinema considers a movie hideous. There's a cinematic unit, one could say, that is something which is which this critic finds hideous, finds ugly, finds bad. But when we say hideous, we are talking about the opposite of beauty, but that comes under the aspect of judging beauty, of determining, ascertaining what beauty is or what is beautiful. So this critic doesn't consider a movie beautiful, quite the opposite of that. The critic considers the movie to be hideous, to be ugly. It's not beautiful. But let's not forget that this is a movie. And what we are talking about here, or the person that we are talking about here, the subject is a reputed critic of cinema. Also, this is not just any critic, this is a reputed critic. So the key idea here is that this person, the critic of cinema, is reputed, means or suggests that this person has knowledge about beauty of cinema overall, has a general idea of what would be considered beautiful as cinema or in cinemas. This person considers a cinema, a movie to not be beautiful. They are judging beauty of a cinema. The outcome again doesn't matter. What matters is that this person has knowledge and they are expressing something about the beauty of said thing which they have knowledge about. So this may be something which the author might agree or disagree with, but we know one thing, that this is definitely not contrary to Perloff's explanation. Perloff's explanation is that one has to have knowledge of a particular thing, knowledge of beauty in general, to be able to judge the beauty of a particular thing. This is very much in line with that. A reputed critic of cinema has knowledge of beauty in cinema. They can very well make a judgment on a movie, a cinema, which they consider to be hideous, which they consider to be not beautiful. So this does not contradict Marjorie Perloff's explanation. Not a valid answer. Option B says, a cubist painter looks at a modern art abstract painting and finds it to be exquisite. Again, finds it to be exquisite, exquisitely beautiful, very beautiful, doesn't make a difference. Whether they consider something to be beautiful or not is not the key concern. The key concern is that they are judging something, measuring the beauty of something. They're determining, ascertaining something is beautiful or something is not. They should have a general idea of beauty. What we have here is a cubist painter. Now, agreed, a cubist painter belongs to a different genre of painting as compared to modern art. and that also an abstract painting, but it is painting nonetheless. So a painter, we can assume that this person has knowledge about painting or has knowledge about what is considered beautiful in paintings. They look at a painting of a different style, of a different genre, and they find it to be beautiful. So this also does not contradict Perloff's explanation. This person has knowledge in abstract about painting, and so they can determine that X, in this case, a modern art abstract painting, is beautiful. So does not answer the question. B is also incorrect. Option C has the same problem. A cellist is asked to play to replace a violinist in an orchestral performance, but is able to play the violin naturally and beautifully. Now, first off, this is somewhat irrelevant because we are not talking about determining beauty or ascertaining beauty as it is mentioned in the passage here, the ability of a person to ascertain beauty. More than that, we are still talking about a person who has knowledge about music. At least a cellist, a cello is an organ, a music organ, which in fact is similar to a violin. So when a violinist is replaced, a cellist is asked to take his place, and the cellist then performs in this kind of a place, an orchestral performance. They perform in an orchestra, and they are able to play the violin naturally and beautifully. So first off, to play the violin naturally and beautifully, it's not talking about judging beauty. So this is irrelevant. Second off, this is still a person who has knowledge about music at least, and on an organ which is close to a violin. Let's say we don't know what a cellist means, but then a cellist is still someone who has knowledge, and they can already play this thing naturally and beautifully. So we don't find the aspect of judging beauty at all just on the basis of that. Let's assume that we don't know what a cellist is. Let's assume that we don't even know what a violinist is. So what a cello is, who plays it, what a violin is, who plays it, we have no idea about that. We see that this does not give us the aspect of judgment of beauty, and so it is irrelevant to the premise. It doesn't answer the question because it doesn't connect with the question. So C is also incorrect. Option B says, a student of commerce reads an obscure scriptural text and gives it a very positive testimonial that is appreciated by an expert of the text. Now, this is very much in contradiction, something that the author would, logically speaking, by the given information in the passage, the author would disagree with or agree with, because this is contrary to the explanation given by Marjorie Perloff. We have discussed again and again that Perloff states that a person must have an overall idea of beauty in order to be able to judge the beauty of something. Now, this student reads an obscure scriptural text. So first off, the text is obscure. Second off, it is scriptural. So it is kind of like a holy text, something which is of the likes of the Bible, or maybe even the Ramayana or the Mahabharata or the Bhagavad Gita. So an obscure scriptural text. This is read by a student of not literature, not theosophy, not even philosophy, study of gods or scriptures, etc. This is a student of commerce who, we can again assume, has no idea about scriptural texts. So they don't have a general idea, an idea in abstract of what beauty is in scriptural texts, but they still read the text. They find it's an obscure text, so it's highly possible that in fact it is quite likely, almost definitively assumable, that this student has not read this scriptural text and they still find it to be beautiful. They give it a positive testimonial, a very positive testimonial. A very positive testimonial is where this person would be talking about its beauty. And then this testimonial, it's not just a random testimonial when someone says, I like this is good. It is appreciated by an expert of the text. So an expert, one who has idea about beauty or what beauty is in scriptural texts, an idea of beauty in abstract, they read this testimonial and they appreciate it. Where a student of commerce who does not have idea about beauty in abstract, in this case, judges something as being beautiful, and that judgment, it seems, is a valid judgment. So this goes contradictory to Marjorie Perloff's explanation. Hence, D is a valid choice. That is the correct answer.